Okay, so this is the day after arriving back. I'm gonna go through some stuff and see what I carry. Let's start with the tank bag. Okay, so that's the tank bag unpacked. We've got documentations, so such things as ferries and all that kind of stuff, and insurances, visas for being abroad, anything like that. We've got things to keep the visor clean, sunblock. Didn't use it because I kept myself covered really well. I've got little binoculars, comes in handy sometimes. A bag, this turns into a 10-liter bag, comes in handy when you're going off for a little walk away from the bike. That can come in very handy, especially if I used it while went for a walk in the mountains with a friend, and I had a jacket in it, and a thunderstorm started, so could keep myself dry. Head torch comes in handy at night if you get caught. Didn't really need to use it because everything worked out fine, but if you get caught in the dark, that might come in handy. And a couple of times when I woke up really early to leave early, there was enough light for me to work around. Pens and marker for map purposes, charger for the phone to charge while on the go because using the phone as a GPS, things for taking selfies since I was alone and taking pictures, la-di-da, came in handy. Watch is always on me. Things to keep, documentations, places where I'm going, etc., and fuel costs and tolls and stuff like that. And then this is my personal wallet. Keep my phone in there, wallet, passports, whatever I need, hand sanitizer. That's the tank bag. So all of that fits in there. Phone can fit here as well, but I use a mount for that. We'll talk about that later on. Okay, so this was all camping equipment. We have a little sleeping mat here, comes in handy to throw it down, but I usually put this on my camp bed. It adds a bit of comfort and makes a huge difference. So let's take this apart and see what it contains. This is a pack safe system used for backpacks, but I use it to put surround my duffel bag in it. Adds a bit of security when you want to stop the bike, leave it somewhere. Ease of mind. It's another preventative measure, but more hassle for thieving opportunists. It deters them a bit. I mean, if someone wanted to get in, they can, but just a bit of a preventative measure. So I pass the wire through a couple of loops to make sure that it's nice and tight, but I also loop this around points where it can't just be undone. So even if you manage to get this off, it's still tethered with its own wire, just to create a bit more hassle. Oh man, there's a lock there, so we'll unlock it, unwrap it, and see what's inside. Okay, so on the outside of the duffel bag, in the metal mesh, just throw these in a plastic bag, makes them waterproof. Tested multiple times in the rain. It does keep them waterproof. I just used to wrap it around this way, so then the opening is underneath facing back, and never had any issues at all. Now, I did do a massive track in my riding boots, and the only thing that I found uncomfortable about it was their weight. Other than that, when I did a big mountain track, I used these. These come in handy when you just want to go to a restaurant or just meet friends. I really like these because of the zipper. If I had something like this in riding boots with some ankle protection, I would have probably taken those. I have something like that, but I found them very slippery. So I avoided taking those. Instead I took these. These were really awesome to have around. Okay, so the duffel bag. Still unopened from the trip. I'm gonna open it up, check what's inside. This was really awesome. It's tested in the rain. It kept the rain out. My only concern is that the metal mesh might rub against it and eventually wear it out with time. But other than that, if you maybe just put the rubber mesh on when you're stopping, that should eliminate the vibration and the friction from it. Because I did notice it made some marks on the panniers. Made some scuffs here, soft scuffs here, just cosmetic things, nothing really bad. But you know, it's wear and tear. These were brand new. They're not anymore. They've been used, and so it should be. If your things stay brand new, then you're not using them. Maybe it's not worth having them. So, great bag, and I think it can be used for a lot of different things as well. As long as you give this a couple of wraparounds, it will stay safe. And I always try and put the front of the bike on this side so water would flow back. So, put this on the side now. You've seen me open and see what's inside. So, gift for the niece. I got some memorabilia from Grossglockner, and I was throwing all receipts and maps and anything like that along with them, so that's there. So those are just things I picked up. Good clothes and bad clothes. 5 sets of shirts, 5 sets of underwear, and corresponding socks. The socks I found I could use on 2 separate occasions if I wanted to. I wasn't. I like being clean, so I was doing that system. Some people say that's highly unnecessary. The bike was carrying them, I wasn't carrying them, so I didn't find any issue with that. But they do take up some space. If you lay them flat, lay them out, got no problem with that. On top goes the tarpaulin, because that's the first thing that needs to come out. Sometimes to put other stuff on it. You got tent, 2-person tent, but when I put the cot, the sleeping cot inside, it's only 1-person tent really, but some stuff goes in with me as well. 3/4 shorts. Comes in handy when you're going around the city. You have some time to stop, you want to change. Didn't always do that. Didn't mind the sweating while I was in the riding gear. I always keep a pair of underwear, socks, and t-shirt in the top box. I learned that from experience. You should always have something there, just bang to go, ready to go without needing to take stuff out in case you get wet, you sweat something out, you can just change. Especially a t-shirt, it's really handy. Sleeping bag. Didn't need it most of the time, but when I needed it, it kept me warm. So that's good. Even in July, apparently, in July, August, in Austria and Styria and in Bavaria, that can come in handy. Camp chair. If you're staying in local campgrounds where you pay to pitch your tent, which is most of Europe, wild camping is not allowed. You can still do it, but it's not allowed. This is unnecessary, so is a table. But if you're wild camping, and especially if you stop for a couple of days, this is a must to God's hand. You'd bless it. I used it more than a couple of times. It's awesome, but they do take space. So if you're paying to places where you're pitching your tent, they will have these things. They will have a table, they will have a bench where you can walk from your tent if you need to sit down, read a book or something. So maybe you consider not getting them, but if you do get them, they're handy. So that's the table that goes with it as well. See, it takes some space. The heaviest thing is the camp bed. I would like to have had a lighter version than this, maybe a bit more compact. Couldn't find, when I tried getting them off of Amazon, the price just skyrockets with postage. So eventually I opted out and I got this one. But I know I'm going to use it here locally as well, so didn't mind purchasing it. It does take a lot of space, and you should do something with the feet to protect so it doesn't puncture your tent. I did do that. Maybe I'll show you later on in another video what I did. So this is just a tarp that goes on top of the tent. When it was really hot, I wouldn't put the outer lining of the tent. I just used to set this up high above the tent so I get a flow of air. This was really good to have, especially like if you can just whip it up really fast. In case of rain or sun, it's inside, it's reflective, so it keeps the sun away. That's really handy. To carry water, 10 liters. Didn't use it because facilities and amenities were around. An extra quick dry towel, one was enough, and it's a bigger one, and I just carried it in the top box. Two pairs of jeans. When I got rained out, I had the heavier jeans in here, same place where this was. That was awesome to have another set of pants, to just take these off and put the others on and stay dry. But if you never have that problem, you know, you're just carrying extra weight. I was in a bookstore in Munich, promised myself not to buy any books, bought a book. This. Took this with the intention to put it in the where the back protector sits in my jacket, in my summer jacket. I tested it out. This was one of the few things I completely tested out in Malta, in the field. It worked fine. Hit the road on the first day. It was catching air. I couldn't work. I think I need to change the hose. It needs a good clean, definitely. So I couldn't make it work. But thankfully, I had water stored in the top box, and I used that system instead. There you go. And that's the duffel bag completely empty now. These are clean. This is an awesome piece of gear. Okay, so now we've got the left and right panniers and the top box to open up and see what's inside. Let's get ahead and do that. We'll check out what's inside here, but first off, I'll take these off. So that's the right hand side. That's the left hand side. Okay, starting with the right hand pannier. I'm doing everything right now so you can actually see me under it. We have dry with the gear that goes on top. That was needed. We've got cover for the motorcycle. Should have used it, didn't use it. In fact, one time I was under pine trees, woke up in the morning, and everything was covered with this like honey from the pines. This is all cooking utensil things. So there's the stove, cups, pots, pans, and all that stuff. Let's actually see what's inside. So, all this stuff was spare adapters, canister for stove to operate on different liquid fuels. Didn't use it. Cup and ladle, cutting board, and all that stuff. Use these, very handy. Gas light. Didn't use it. I was in good environments. Same thing, light. Didn't use it. Could have used this one. Really didn't need this one. But it was a good test for more extreme conditions than what I was staying with. Plate and bowl, use them, pretty handy to eat from. And then we have cooking utensils. So this for the stove to sit on, and the windscreen, use them. Wood stove. This was just carrying it as a test run. Very easy to carry. In a more extreme situation, would be extremely handy. Used to fry eggs and make rice and oats and stuff like that. So we have cutlery, knife. This comes in handy to put your bottles on, gas bottles. I operated the stove on gas, so that was handy. That's the Optimus stove, multi-fuel, with a this dog silencer, because these make quite a lot of noise. This reduces it to a really good sound level that doesn't annoy anyone, and it distributes the flame very easily. I'll make a review on this maybe. So that was that. Gas canisters. There's still gas in there. I ended up buying some food. Didn't even touch this one. If I cooked more, I might have gone through this and needed this, but I was carrying extra weight. As you see, I was overly prepared sometimes. These are two chargers for radio, listening to normal radio, maybe communicate with other people. Didn't really use it. Didn't get lonely on the road by myself. So this is a charged radio and shaving kits and stuff like that. The shaving kit kept its charge. Didn't need any of this technological stuff. This would come in handy in other extreme conditions. If I had the other one as well, it would have been handy to communicate with someone else, especially when you put the box on. But I took it to listen to normal radio, keep me company. Didn't really need it. I kept myself company while on the road. Didn't get bored. This comes in handy for pitching a tent, doing any, like trying to push any bolts on the motorcycle. Didn't need that because the motorcycle, everything worked fine. I used a rubber mat here. Didn't want to damage anything on the motorcycle. It was really handy to hammer the pegs for the tent, and it doesn't make any sound, so it doesn't annoy your neighbors. These came in handy. Walk around, getting in showers, etc. And they don't take any space. Found myself using these a lot actually, around campground and all that stuff. Bit of oil for when water gets in any of these like key components and around the motorcycle. Didn't find myself using this too much. And the bike chain, which is a necessity for insurance purposes and all that stuff. I avoided cities. I was mainly in mountains, and every place that I stayed was safe and felt secure, so I would just slap on the corresponding alarm on the disc as disc lock. If I would have felt like I needed to leave the bike and the place would it have been safe, I would have definitely used this. As it was, I didn't find myself using it. I would always, like, even when sightseeing, I would always have a really good look around at the other bikes and what security they were using to get a gauge on the locals. So really heavy, didn't really use it, but a good thing to have around, especially if you are in cities. I avoided a lot of the cities altogether. So here we use it. So that's that. All of that, as you've seen, stayed in there. And I would mainly open this one for the food stuff when I was camping, unless I was eating somewhere there or I got a sandwich or something. And I would use it for this bad boy and this bad boy. So that's the left pannier. Okay, this is the left-hand pannier. Let's check it out. And again, I'm going to be in front of you because I want you to see that everything actually fits in. Okay, so we got these are part of the toiletries. We got shavers for my noggin and soap and electric shaver and all that stuff. A lot of it is taking space to look after my beard, which I realized how much of a nuisance it can be on the road. It requires a lot of care. And I think it's something that on like biker movies and the like, it's a detail that is hugely missing, because when you're traveling 200 kilometers plus, doing highway speeds, this thing gets dry and it gets knotty. So not naughty, naughty as in full of knots. So it needs, like, you need to wash it and oil it and blow dry it and really look after it, otherwise it ends up like a mess of a nest. So a lot of it, like, otherwise I could just carry like the shaving foam, the shaving cream, and the shaver, and that would be it. I would be set. So I needed to carry a small blow dryer as well with me. So as you can see, some things that you like can be a bit of a nuisance when traveling. Extra jacket to carry. Now I do know that I previously showed my wet weather gear, which is awesome, and I could have used that, but when tracking I found myself like carrying this instead because of the hoodie. So that's a thing to keep in mind. I could probably be okay with just this and the pants from the wet weather gear, although just the zipper maybe at high speeds might not keep the water out. So that's a thing to experiment with in winter months. Now, managed to stick in some souvenirs. So that's a souvenir. Spare gloves. I started with these, and then I noticed, as you can see here, sunburn from where the jacket ends and the glove end. The wind buffeting would push the jacket back, and I got really bad sunburn here and here. So instead I started using my gauntlets, and the gauntlets worked perfectly for the summer season, which I wasn't expecting. Some paracord rope, which is always handy in my opinion. Was about to use it for washing line, then I sorted myself out another way, so didn't use it. I would not want to give that up. First aid kit, didn't use it. This is something you have to have with you. A small first aid kit for the bike. So this is for tire puncture and purposes. Didn't use it. Hope I never use it. Don't want to be without it. if you see any branding, none of it is sponsored. It's just what I had available to buy at local shops or what I got from the internet, because I personally liked it. So we have antibacterial spray. It finished. It's running out. This was really handy. I used it a lot on my boots, in my gloves, in my helmet. It helped keep things fresh, and also like help keep things like not develop any stain or anything at all. I don't know if they would have, but this is a thing. This is a must in my opinion. Very handy. Things for chain maintenance. So brushes. I have this product. I should do a review on it. It's called the Chain Mate from a British guy. It's made in England. I love using this to look after my chain. Makes things very easy, but very good. It's not like it's an easy job and it's fudged up job. It's actually a really good job, and it keeps everything contained, and you don't get any chain spray on your tires, which is awesome. So this is my torque system, so it becomes like a torque range. I would have needed if I was fixing the chain. The chain didn't need any fixing at all, so I didn't use it. I got some putty, like a hard metal putty thing, and I rolled duct tape on it. Didn't need it. But wouldn't want to go without these things. And some gloves for when dealing with the oil. Didn't really need any of that. But things that if you need them and you don't have them, you would cry for them. So better to have them. Tools. Didn't really use these, but you always want them. The one thing that I needed, which was a socket 20 mil, wasn't in this set. This should match the rest of the bike. I needed it for the two front pegs, which were an addition by the previous owner. He used a row bolt with a 20 mil head. Didn't have that in my tools because this matches the Honda bike. Anyway, this would come in handy in more remote regions. Found myself using it just a little bit with a paper map. Cover for the tank bag. Didn't use it even when it was raining heavy. Didn't have the chance to pull it out, put it on. I was on the go, needed to keep going. Poncho might have been handy. It's an easy thing to carry around. Didn't use it. When I needed to stay dry, I used other things. Chain lube. This was to wipe down the chain. Didn't want to throw it out because I kept using it and it wasn't making a mess. And souvenir from Munich. A friend bumped this for me. I'll probably keep this and drink from it. It's a good memory. So that is what was in the pannier. Okay, it's time for the top box. Let's check what's inside it. Alright, so right off the bat, this would usually be my jacket. I just threw that there before getting the ferry. So, needs a wash definitely. So, alright, let's leave it there. But, I'll use that for the edge of the frame. So, this kind of evolved, and this was the final setup. So I used to have this in there, but also a phone charger, which is being used right now. Actually, it's not, so I'll bring it over. This cable would be hooked to my bike, to the cigarette lighter, and it lives, when it's not being used, it lives on the tank bag. So this totally useless. I had the tank bag one. Why I took this also, and took that because of something else that was completely useless to carry. But you know, you grow and you learn. So straps to strap down the bike on ferries, and these, I basically carry these all the time to strap things to my bike, so it was there. This is a net with an elastic band with hooks. I found it quite handy when I needed to carry, when I got rained out, needed to carry the clothes. I just put this on the net, hooked it on the net, and this carried that stuff outside from my dry stuff, because these shad, I believe, they're waterproof. Like, even the ones they got a seam on the side, inside there's a lip, they're completely waterproof. The bag was waterproof, so that was good. And then I had this adapter, which functioned in some cases. In Italy, this wouldn't function. I was trying to use the USB port. This could have easily worked. Completely forgot I was carrying it. Yeah. So awesome place. This was with me for the radio, to listen to the radio. Tested it out in Malta, everything worked fine, just didn't use it there. Seriously, why did I take this? Anyway, I'll throw back this stuff in there. And these bungee cords always live in here, but these I was using for attaching the duffel bag to the bike. So now these start living here, and again, that way they don't get lost. Everything has a place. Done. Something to read. At the start I was like, I'm not finding time, but then time was made available on ferries and things like that. Something to read. Something to keep you warm, just in case. Super handy to have this. And I like my new shirts. When you stop, when you're setting up camp, just boom, put these on. You're set to go. Also in the morning, having this allowed me to not use any of my shirts while I set up the bike, and then I could go grab a shower, put on my riding gear, and be fresh for the ride. Quick dry towel. It's a big one, so it takes a bit of space, more than the other one, but this was awesome. Lakes, beaches, and wherever there wasn't any, like on campsites to have a shower, this was awesome. It dries super quick. This was some awesome pictures. I like having a hard copy of the streets where I'm at. Some memorabilia from Grossglockner. This was awesome. that so as not to take a lot of space. My washing stuff, I learned that it should be in the top box, not anywhere else, because I might decide to jump in a lake and I would comb my beard in the water there. I might stop and decide to have a shower straight away before unpacking anything. Boom, take it out, you're done. Talcum powder, not this brand, just a normal cheap brand. It works better for me, but the container is good. Okay. For the helmet, this I used once when I left the helmet attached to the bike during a night. That's when that honeydew thing dropped. It's awesome that I had this because it saved stickiness from the visor. Other than that, I didn't use it. Yet, it kept staying in the top box. I usually use it at home just to keep the dust off the helmet. This I usually wear under, in winter times, under the summer riding jacket, and it's enough for me to keep warm. I didn't really use it. I thought in some places it might be needed. I didn't find it to be the case. If it was getting cooler, I might have needed it in conjunction with this. So these are still fresh, but when I got the ferry yesterday, I changed the shirt, so this is dirty. That's the set that I always kept here, just in case. So, an extra wide beater, don't know why, just like it. This is food stuff. I had eggs in here, some receipts, eggs, salt, oil, powdered milk, tea, oats, quick rice, sometimes some bars, snack thing. That was all food. Kept it in there for easy access. But as you can see, it takes a lot of the space. Now, this is for me for writing. This is manual for my bike. Some repair things, even for tents. The bike got closed paints. Highly recommend them. Very detailed. You can fix your bike with this thing. In fact, I'll see if I'm comfortable enough with the information to do the bike check myself, because it's something I want to learn other than just getting someone else to do it for me. If I do that, I still want to learn it. This is what was used for water, because the source platypus bag didn't cut it for me, and I was using it all the time. Sometimes it would last 2 days, sometimes it would just last one. Yeah. So that was a godsend. With the towel, swimming trunks on the top box. Driving by, see a lake, stop, jump in. No need to watch things about. Quick wipes, didn't use them. They're water biodegradable, all that stuff, but I always shy away from them. Toilet paper, always in need of easy access for that stuff. Disc brake and alarm. This thing is awesome. I noted that it plays up if it's wet in the rain, it plays up a bit. It actually goes off, but still stays locked. So be aware of that if you ever leave your bike out in the rain and it's not covered, because you might annoy people. The glasses. This is what keeps the metal net around the duffel bag. It stays, folds up, stays in this. I really didn't need this. It's an extension. I really didn't need it. I found myself only charging the phone. Everything else worked fine. But, you know, lessons learned. Small portable hair dryer for my beard. Another buff thing. This usually stays in the pocket of my jeans. It emigrates there because if you don't want to feel the pressure while riding, and keep the other one in my jacket. Acquired these, didn't use them. They're actually made of stainless steel inox. Took them with me. These are just in case things. Antibacterial hankies. Hand sanitizer was enough. My book of German. It's a bit wrecked now. Ah, some water spilled in there at some stage. Or maybe it was from the... It's actually still wet. Maybe it was from being against something like... Oh, I didn't use these. That's silly. Because I didn't meet the people. Alright. I know who I can get them to. Let's put this there. Just in case things. This was a gift. I love it. Cherish it. I don't want to lose it. Came in handy a couple of times. It usually is on my belt. I'm ready to go, but then I start putting it in there. Keep myself free. RAM mount for the phone. Awesome device. Not sure if it vibrates too much, and my phone vibrator mechanism broke. Now, a rock from a mountain in Austria. Lava rocks from Etna. And that is it. That's the top box. If you enjoyed this content and want to motivate me, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching.